They're overwhelming people with stupidity. And so I want to destroy that. I'm pissed off that all of you guys aren't making money, because with Skool, you don't have to even grab an LLC. You don't have to figure out integrating Stripe. You don't have to figure out how to set up a web page. Our web pages convert better than Shopify. You need to pull your heads out of your asses and focus on the one thing you probably need to do. If you run this playbook, it'll be very unlikely that you can't sell 1 out of 10 people. That's if you suck so bad. If you're a beginner, so I saw a lot of new people, so this is a message for you. Do not try and make things scalable before you've made them valuable. So I see too many people trying to say like, well, that's not gonna scale. Well, what if I get 1,000 customers and I'm there? It's like telling somebody, hey, I don't wanna start lifting weights because what if I get too jacked? Why don't you just look like you work out first? And then we can deal with the fact that you gotta buy new shirts. We'll deal with it then. When you sell something that's unscalable and inherently valuable because it is unscalable, you will be able to charge more money for it, have less infrastructure because you make more money per customer. And as a result of making more money per customer, you will take that additional money and you will deploy it as resources to build out your capacity when you need it. And so for many of you, you need to pull your heads out of your asses and focus on the one thing you probably need to do. And so if you're like, I'm not sure what to do, let me tell you what it is. You make your offer, and then you say you will give stuff away, the version of that thing, for free. And you say you'll work with somebody one-on-one for 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours for free. But wait, Alex, how am I gonna make money? You currently don't make money. And now you have 0 leads. If you then upgrade to having leads and not making money, that makes you better off than having no leads and not making money. And guess what leads become? Customers. And so whatever your current hourly rate is, let's say that you currently make, and by the way, if you don't know how this math works, look at what you made last year, divided by 2,000, that's what your hourly wage is. And if you're looking at what you made when you were awake, then divide it by 8,000, and all of a sudden you're going to be really, really sad. All right. So let's do this math together. Let's say that your median household income, bro. All right. 60,000. That's median household income in the United States. Let's divide that by 8,000. That's $7.50 per hour. All right. $7.50 per hour. So let me ask you this question. Would you pay $40 to get a customer? Probably. If I said you pay 40 and you get to sell something $1,000, would you pay it? Definitely. Of course you would. And yet you don't do it with your time. And so 5 hours times $7.50 is $40 of your time. That's if you want to be a prima donna and value your time because you think your time is valuable. But it isn't, because you don't make any money yet. Because the market literally doesn't value your time because you don't have the skill to turn your time into money. And that's what I'm trying to break down for you. Give time away. Service customers for free. When you have your first meeting with them, say, hey, would you mind if at the end of these 5 hours on our 5th day or our 5th meeting, if I present to you what it might look like for us to work together? They'll say yes. After they say yes, you then ask them what their goals are, what the obstacles are that they've encountered up to this point, what things have gotten in the way. And then what this does is it creates where they want to go, where they're at now, and the obstacle in the way. And guess what we get paid money for? Solving the obstacle. Now, here's the cool part about giving work away for free. You get to load the dice. You get to stack the deck, because you know that when you solve that problem, guess what happens in business? You create more problems. So for example, if you were in a B2B situation, maybe you help someone change their site and now their site could convert more. Guess what they're going to want once their site converts more? More traffic. If someone says, hey, I'm going to help you with an offer, at the end of the 5 hours, they have an offer and you're like, great, now you know what to sell. Would you like my help selling it? They'll say, yes, as a matter of fact, now that I know this, I need this. And so this is something called the classic upsell. You can't have X without Y. You can't have fries without ketchup. You can't have peanut butter without bread. So you give them the peanut butter and then you say, hey, you want some bread with that? And so I see a lot of guys giving advice, sometimes even the school groups, that are midwitting. They're overwhelming people with stupidity. And so I want to destroy that. and make this as simple as humanly possible for the sole purpose of forcing you to confront the work. Give more shit away for free than you were originally planning to. Give so much shit away for free that people feel bad that they're taking from you. And then you get to set the terms for them to make it up to you. And you can make them make it up to you for more than it cost you. And so I'll tell you a little story about reciprocity. Life hack. Let's say I cover somebody's lunch, right? We're at the cafeteria. We're at uni, as they call it in the UK, in the Kingdoms of United. We're at uni, and I cover the lunch for 8 quid. Let's say it's an expensive lunch, right? Quid is like bucks, but for pounds. That's what they call it, slang. And so then it's like, hey, man, I owe you one. Now, at a later date, let's say it's tomorrow, I say, awesome, man. Can you help me move out of my house and into the new house? Well, fuck. That was a bigger ask. But if he says no, he looks like a dick because he set the terms of a blank check. And so here's the thing that people don't understand. When you give something to someone and they accept it, they write you a blank check that you get to cash later on your terms. So the reason you want to give away so much is so that you can have many IOUs out there and know that you will get more back from them than you gave. That's the net positive trade. Now, if I want to be altruistic about it, then the hope is that at that time, the guy was starving and he was going to die if I didn't buy him lunch. And so the idea is that the value that I gave him actually was outsized. And for him, he was stoked to come over the next day and help me do this. But I'm just giving you the Cialdini influence breakdown rather than the altruistic version of this. Again, because I just don't want anybody to get confused about it. So give away unscalable value. Give away value that costs you like pounds of flesh. And the reason we do that is because you want them to know it costs you. It's actually almost more important that they know that it cost you a lot to do this because that's what makes them more inclined to buy. And so, for example, one-on-one stuff works so well in the beginning. This is how I started my business. It works so well in the beginning because you don't need to include many other features. If you just say, I'm going to do whatever I can over 5 hours to help you with this one thing, you don't need to think about the features and the bonuses and the wording and all this stuff because all of that 201 mid-wit marketing stuff is only important once you need to get to the point where you have already maxed out your time. And so until you max out your time, until you're spending 40 hours a week actively doing one of two things, you're either promoting or delivering. That's it. 40 hours. Until 40 hours of your week. That's all you're doing. Now, admin, I'm not even counting that. Just pure work that is the highest value work. Until you do that, the rest of it doesn't matter. And once you get there, then you can worry about the scalable shit. Because guess what happens when you do 40 hours a week of customer-facing work because you're promoting or delivering? You know a hell of a lot more about your customers. And then when you create the more scalable version, you'll be able to say, okay, I do these 8 things repeatedly over and over again. So in the beginning, I'm talking to these people and you're just figuring it out. But then you realize, man, that was pretty good. That thing I said to that first guy, I'm going to say it to the second guy. And you say it to the second guy. And by the 9th time you say it, you're like, okay, that's a framework of mine. I'm going to keep that as framework 1. And then you solve the next problem. You're like, oh, actually, blah, blah, blah. By the 7th guy, you're like, oh, this is framework number 2. This is actually my second framework. And then what happens is you start to develop something called IP, which is intellectual property. It's a process that you figured out after working with a lot of people. And the point of service oftentimes is to give someone their time back. Is that you have solved this problems more time than they will ever need to solve that problem, which means you will have more insight, more expertise, which means that you'll be able to increase the likelihood that they actually get the result, and you'll be able to do it faster for them, and it'll be easier for them. And when you can do something faster, better, and easier, people are willing to give you money for it. And so you just can't try and skip the painful period of the unscalable part because that's where you acquire skills. It's going through that painful repetition where you have no process that forces you to create a process to overcome the friction. You start being like, man, is there a way I can make this easier? Man, I really wish I could just like lubricate this because I feel like I'm repeating myself over. Well, guess what? What you innovate there becomes your product. that becomes the offer, that becomes the messaging. Because when you say it like this, no one cares. But that one time I said it like this and then everyone seemed really excited about it. And now I say it like this because that seems to really resonate. Guess what that is? A hook. Great. Find another 100 of them and string them together. And now you've got a sales pitch. And so I say this because I'm pissed off that all of you guys aren't making money. Because with Skool, we've literally eliminated, you don't have to even grab an LLC. We you don't have to figure out integrating Stripe. You don't have to figure out how to set up a web page. Our web pages convert better than Shopify. Our web pages convert better than Shopify. Payment processing automated. It's like the only thing you have to do is just tell people. It's just tell people about it. And you're like, but what do I tell them? That you're going to help them and that you're going to help them one-on-one and in a group. And that you're going to make sure that they get it. And you're going to tell them how many hours you're going to work with them and you're going to prove it. And you don't have to do anything technical because it's one-on-one. Just text them. Hey, are you free today? Let's talk. And then on the 5th call or the 3rd call, you say, hey, remember I told you I was going to present what it might look like to work together. Is that okay if I tell you about it now? Yes. By the way, before I get into that, do you have anybody else who wants to just take advantage of me and get free time and free work from me? Do you know anybody else? You're like, yeah, I do know somebody else who would like to take advantage of you, Alex. It's like, hey, it's got to be a guy. Oh, no, that sounds weird. Got to be a girl. That sounds bad too. You know what? Maybe we don't. Maybe it's only monetarily taking advantage. Let's be PC here. All right? Let's be politically correct. I want someone to take politically correct abuse of me. Great. Now we've got something called a schmishmerl. It rhymes with referral. All right? That's what we're getting. So we get a referral. Crazy. You know what's even crazier about that is that if you spent $40 to get that customer, now you cut it in half because you spent 20 because they got you somebody. And if they got you 4 people, then you spent 10. And here's the crazy part. We've seen, and we'll get more data, but basically if you run this playbook, it'll be very unlikely that you can't sell 1 out of 10 people. That's if you suck so bad, like the worst, like you're terrible. If you spend 30 hours or 50 hours delivering for 10 people, 1 of them will just give you money out of feeling bad. 2 more people will give you money probably also out of feeling bad. And then, you know, what's crazy is that you can just do it again with another 10 people. And then on that time, you'll get 4 out of 10 to say yes. And then the next time you'll get 6 out of 10 to say yes. And then you'll be like, well, hot darn, I've gotten better at sales and my offer's better now. Maybe I'll raise my prices. And then you raise your prices. And if you're like, man, I don't even know what I would say on that sales call. I've already covered closure frameworks. I'm not going to do it again. But what you can say is, hey, if working together got you to this goal and it cost $3,000, what would that look like to you in a dream scenario? Then let them come up with the offer to sell themselves. You don't even have to fucking think about it. Just say, hey, if we got you here and it costs this much, would that be worth it? They'll say yes, because obviously the goal is worth that. Cool. What would that look like for you? Perfect world. And here's the cool thing. In the beginning, you're not talking about scaling. You're talking about making money. So you just say, sure, that sounds good. Cash or credit. Or Bitcoin. Or sexual favors. Hey, slow down. Slow down. All right? That's not what this is about. That's not what this is about. Calm down, Eric. Down. All right. Should make sure we're on the same page here. Hey, you know, work is work. Everybody needs compensation. You know, compensation of the flesh is different story. But bartering is one of the oldest forms of exchange. So maybe you'll meet your future spouse. You never know. That being said, I feel like we got it. I feel like we got this. Have you guys feeling sufficiently riled for this moment? All right, great. So you promised me, I'll give you the quick recap. Figure out the one thing you need to do. Number 2, stop doing everything that's not that thing. 3, give away shit that people actually value, which is probably going to be your time in the beginning. 4, when you ask them what they want, or up front, you tell them you're going to sell them. You say, hey, can I present you something in the future about working together if this goes well? They're going to say yes. Great. 5 calls later, you say, hey, remember that thing? If it got you to this next goal, would that be worth this? They say yes. You say, cool. What would that look like in a perfect world for you? Then they say it's you shirtless on a beach, waxed in oil. And you're like, why are we going there? But then you say, of course, Sharon, I'm in. Sign me up. Just pay here. And yes, it's annual because, you got to break your annual virginity. Everybody needs to do it once. All right. With that being said, you and Sharon can ride off into the sunset, annualizing one another.
Listen, if we get 1 out of 2 paid communities to make money, most people don't have organic audiences. So we had to figure it out or no one would stay on Skool, but we have. And that's why we have tens of thousands of groups on Skool right now. And as much as I'd like to think people love me, people stay because they make money. And we'll show you exactly how they did it. And also, just to make sure you don't get stuck on any step, I answer questions every single week. And so now's the best time to get started. So if that sounds at all interesting, the best part is you can start a community of your own absolutely free. Worst case, start for free, you decide to quit, and then you can take all the training that other people charge thousands of dollars for with you for free. Best case, you take a zero risk move and build an online business that could change your life forever. And to be clear, I'm not asking you to decide yes or no today. I'm asking you to make an informed decision. That's it. And the only way you can do that is on the inside, not on the outside. So get inside and see if everything that we say is true and valuable to you. And if you get in and decide it's not for you, no sweat. But you can't truly make an informed decision right now for the same reason you don't buy a house without looking inside of it first, or test drive a car before buying it. So this is a guaranteed risk-free test drive. And the only reason you can make an offer that strong is because you're confident that what you have is the real deal. And I'm fairly confident that when you sign up by hitting the button below, you're getting exactly what you need to start your online business. So you might as well give it a shot. The only other guarantee is that if you don't take this shot, you'll stay right where you are right now. But if you take action, you could be the next one coming out to Vegas celebrating how quickly you built an online business with consistent monthly recurring revenue and driving away in a Cybertruck or with 100 grand in cash in your pocket. Pretty neat. So click the button below, join us in the Skool Games. I take calls every Monday, hop on and be sure to let me know you're new. I'll see you on the other side.